Grand Rising, and welcome to the winter solstice premiere of Misfit by Design. Misfit by Design is not a channel I planned. It's something that arrived after years of listening, breaking, rebuilding, and learning the difference between surviving and aligning. On this winter solstice, the darkest point of the year, I'm opening a space for those who've always felt slightly out of sync with the world they were handed. Not because something's wrong with you, but because you were never meant to fit into a system built on force, fear, and constant effort. Misfit by Design is a spoken first archive, a place where we slow down enough to hear what's actually guiding us, beneath the noise, beneath the pressure, and beneath who we were told to be. If you hear, you didn't find this by accident, and you don't need to change anything to belong. Today's poll speaks of what I call the click, that moment when forcing stops working and something quieter takes over. I'm doing a daily transmission from December 17th. I call it the alchemy of quiet power. The star, restored faith after the storm, not loud but settled hope, the kind that returns when your nervous system exhales. The numerology 17 reduced to 8 indicates power, sovereignty, and success. This power is without force. Alignment replaces effort. I'm no longer pushing reality. Reality is meeting me. This is the renewal that doesn't push. A good omen that arrives safely and stays. Second card is Temperance. Sacred integration. I'm blending who I was, who I became, and who I'm becoming without rejecting any of it. Numerology is 14, reduced is 5, which indicates change and choice, conscious change. I am learning when to move, when to wait, when to speak, and when to hold. Both say that I am stabilizing while the world accelerates. The oracle is what pulls it all together. It says, listen, this isn't about getting new information. This is about trusting what I already know. My inner voice isn't whispering because it's unsure. It's quiet because it doesn't compete with fear. I've been guided towards a specific action or expression, not someday, but now. Listening in this case means responding. This is the thread that ties it all together. Here is the second pull, tarot pull that was pulled on 12/12. Justice, Ace of Pentacles, and the Moon. The oracle was the acceptance. I'm standing at the threshold. A karmic cycle is closing. A new timeline is opening. Right now, I'm in the space in between. This isn't confusion. This is transition. Justice shows up when truth finally outweighs history. When life begins to rebalance. Not based on obligation, fear, or survival, but on alignment. What is leaving your life isn't a loss. It's a correction. What is arriving isn't luck. It's earned. Ace of Pentacles tells us that this just isn't spiritual, it's physical. A new structure, a new path, a new way, my gifts become grounded in the new world. This is seed energy, not handed to me, but activated through embodiment. I'm not stepping into something that already exists. I'm stepping into what I was built to create. Then comes the moon. This is the part most misunderstand. The moon doesn't mean you're lost. It means clarity lives in the timeline. I haven't entered it yet. I'm walking by intuition now, not logic, not proof. This is the space between identities, the death before rebirth, the unseen before the seen. Oracle brings it all home. Acceptance, not resignation, not giving up. Acceptance is the moment you stop fighting the reroute. If something doesn't work, if a door closed, if a version of your life collapsed, it's not punishment, it was precision. If you're here listening to this, you're not early and you're not late. You're exactly where the path recalibrates. I'm going to get into what I call the click moment. Most people think awakening happens in a sudden flash of wisdom, a bolt of understanding, a lesson finally learned. But for people like us, the layered ones, it's different. We feel truth long before we can articulate it. We sense shifts before the mind has words for them. We experience a transformation before we can explain it. And then one day, the puzzle just clicks into place. Not because something new arrived, not because someone taught you something, and not because you suddenly became wiser. The click happens because you finally see what has been folding inside of you the whole time. This is the click moment. The moment confusion becomes clarity, overwhelm becomes order, chaos becomes direction, the scattered pieces form a picture. You don't figure it out. You recognize it. It's not mental. It's not logical. It's not analytical. It is an energetic recognition. The truth has always been inside you. You just haven't seen the mechanism yet. I bring this up because I have spent the last, basically all my life, but the last 10 years really going through it with my awakening journey. And it's just that click moment happened probably a month or so ago when I finally realized exactly what my purpose was, what I'm supposed to be doing, and this is what this channel is for. It's a space for people like us who have always not fit in, who've always felt like something's wrong with this world, but just cannot place it. I can place it, and this is what this channel is about. And through all the episodes, through everything that I'm going to be doing, this is what it's going to be about. It's about my awakening journey and what I have learned from it. There is a moment in life when the pushing stops working, not because you failed, but because something else is available. You felt it before. The shift where effort drops, your body exhales, and clarity replaces force. This moment is alignment, and most of us are taught to override it. This isn't about fixing your life. It's about noticing when resistance is present and when it isn't. Over the next few transmissions, listen not with your mind, but with your body. What do you feel? You'll know which is which. Here we have another pull that relates to the same theme. 10 of Cups, justice, and the oracle was break free. It's not the fantasy version of happiness, but the kind that comes after truth. The 10 of Cups equals emotional completion, a cycle that's finished. Honestly, 10 closes the loop, and when we reduce it down to 1, we return to 1. We basically return back to ourselves. This isn't peace you find by fitting in. It's peace you find by coming home. Your heart is no longer negotiating with survival. It's choosing renaissance, truth, and wholeness. Then justice arrives, not to punish, but to rebalance. 11 is the master number. It holds opposites, long enough for truth to stand upright between them. Reduce it, it reduces to a 2, which equals mirror. You cause and effect. What was hidden becomes visible. What was unconscious becomes accountable. This isn't emotional justice, it's energetic. Things fall where they belong without you forcing them. The oracle makes it very clear. Break free, not in anger, not in superiority, but in authenticity. This isn't rejection, it's difference. You cannot live your truth while shrinking to belong. You cannot carry the frequency I'm here to share while dimming myself for comfort. Be brave, be you, And trust this, those who love you do not require my self-betrayal. Here's the article regarding resistance versus alignment. Before the click, your system feels heavy. Everything is a fight. Simple tasks overwhelm you. Clarity feels impossible. Creativity is blocked. Your body resists. Your mind scatters. Your emotions collapse. Your nervous system drops into survival mode, and you start believing something must be wrong with you. But nothing is wrong. You're simply operating against how you were wired. Misalignment looks like this: forcing instead of flowing, thinking instead of sensing, writing before speaking, using logic before frequency, trying to create form before transmission, doing what you were taught instead of what you were built for. Resistance is exhausting. The fight drains you, not the workload, not the mission, and not the content. It's the fight. Alignment feels radically different. Alignment feels like this: your energy opens, your nervous system unclenches. Thoughts organize themselves. Intuition finally has space. Tasks become energizing. You create effortlessly. Time moves differently. And you feel clear, fast, focused, and accurate. For the first time ever, your system is moving with your design instead of against it. When you shift into alignment, you can do more in an hour than you used to do in a week. And it feels like breathing. Effortless, natural, true. You weren't tired, you were misdirected. I was writing before speaking, thinking before channeling, using logic before frequency, trying to build form before transmission existed. My system wasn't exhausted, it was blocked. One more pull here from December 19th. The courage to soften. Queen of Cups, this is emotional maturity, not emotional overwhelm. Queen of Cups doesn't harden to survive. She stabilizes. She feels without drowning, cares without self-abandoning, and listens without losing herself. This card says your sensitivity isn't the problem. It's the regulator. I can't say that word. Sorry. I'm being asked to lead with compassion without silencing myself. The Tower. This isn't collapse. It's averted collapse, because it was in reverse. The Tower reverse shows a truth that's been shaking quietly, internally, instead of exploding outwardly. Numerology equals 16, reduced to 7, means inner reckoning, choice, and conscious change. You'll see how all these pulls come back to the same thing, which is why I've included them, because they all come back to choice and conscious change. This speaks directly to the collective. Systems cracking internally, truths surfacing slowly, tension is building because what's unstable cannot be hidden. For me, this is personal. The storm doesn't need to destroy me. It needs me to respond. The Oracle says, speak your truth. This isn't about shouting or proving a point. This is about ending self-suppression. The eons of silence. I didn't stay silent because I was weak. I stayed silent because I'm intuitive and I know timing matters. This time has shifted. Speaking now isn't disruptive, it's regulatory. The thread that ties all of this together, the Queen of Cups equals emotional steadiness. The Tower in reverse means it was delayed but inevitable change. And speaking your truth, which equals the pressure release. You don't need to harden to survive what's changing. You need to be honest while staying soft. This is the higher vibration. Everything that you are experiencing right now It's not happening to you, it's happening through you. Alignment doesn't change your life first, it changes your internal structure, your nervous system, your perception, and your tolerance for distortion. This is why things start to feel incompatible. Conversations, environments, roles you used to play, they don't fit anymore. Not because they're wrong, but because your inner architecture has shifted. Most people think they are resisting change. They aren't. Their body is protecting the old structure that once kept them safe. Survival creates architecture. So does trauma. So does conditioning. And for a long time, this structure worked until it didn't. Awakening isn't about becoming someone new. It's about removing what was built around you when you didn't have a choice. Inner architecture is the invisible system that decides what you allow, what you chase, and what you believe you're capable of. It's why willpower fails, why mindset works only so far, and why when people know better, but they still repeat the same patterns. The reason this is done is because structure always overrides intention. You may intend to do a lot of things, but if your nervous system is not working correctly, it's not going to get done. When alignment activates, the old structure destabilizes. This is when discomfort appears, not as punishment, but as feedback. Your body is updating. Your system is relearning safety without the self-betrayal. This is where the real work is, not fixing the world and not convincing anyone else to, but in rebuilding the internal framework of your life so that it no longer requires resistance to function. Once this architecture changes, your choices change automatically. You don't have to do anything. They just automatically go. Proof positive. I'm here. All of my stuff is gone. I have no need for it. Your boundaries hold no without effort. Direction clarifies without force, and your reality reorganizes in response. This is where sovereignty begins. Let's go inside. Everything I share here eventually comes back to what I call inner architecture, not beliefs and not mindset, but how your inner world was structured, often without your consent. There's 3 parts that I believe is part of this inner architecture. I will not get into great detail right now. I will just go through them because a little more understanding needs to be put upon before I can really get into it. So it has 3 parts. How we learn to survive, how we learn to decide, and how we learn to listen or stop listening to ourselves. I didn't come into this work because I wanted to teach. I came to it because my old way of living stopped working. Alignment wasn't a spiritual idea. It was the only thing left that felt true. My real intention is not here to topple governments. I'm not here to expose global networks. We are here to dismantle the internal systems of control that deal with fear, compliance, suppression, mental autopilot, and spiritual numbness. External systems only thrive because humans consent to their own cages. Liberation removes the cage entirely. Everything I channel is simply this. I am trying to pull you out of your cage. I am not a destroyer. I am a liberator. The outer collapse happens naturally when consciousness awakens, flowing in alignment, When alignment returns, everything shifts. You flow, you channel, you transmit, you create, you lead. The click isn't just recognition, it was activation. Once it happens, nothing is ever the same again. Your system finally begins doing what it was designed to do. And that's why I can do this every day, all day, effortlessly. As we come to the end of this episode, I hope that I hope that you have noticed the difference in resistance and alignment. Truth and truth. Truth doesn't need to be forced. It needs permission. Today isn't asking you to fight the collapse. It's asking you to stop protecting what's already unstable. Speak from your heart. It's already stabilized. This is how the storm passes without taking you with it. I come to you through orientation and gratitude. I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, not just with your mind, but also with your body and what you might have felt. This space exists for one reason, to slow things down enough for truth to be felt instead of forced. Nothing you heard today is meant to convince you of anything. The only goal is recognition. Noticing what softens, what tightens, and what feels real when the noise drops away. What comes next? We will be building gently from here. We will be continue exploring the difference between resistance and alignment. We will begin looking into the inner architecture that shapes how we survive, decide, and listen. There's nothing for you that you need to do before then. Just notice when shifts stop pushing and let that awareness move with you. Thank you for sharing this moment. I'll meet you in the next transmission.